coffee is called kashayam. In these families in the south, I give you a phrase. When the husband is retired, old man, in the morning, he gets up and tells you, Shanti, Shanti. The last verse of the second chapter, Esha Brahmi Sthiti Partha. Nainam Prapya Vimuhyati. Sthitva Syamanta Kalepi. Brahma Nirvana Mrichati. We'll continue the third chapter also. Just a few minutes. Arjuna Uvacha. Jayasi Chet Karmanaste. Mata Buddhir Janardana. Tat Kim Karmani Ghore Mam. Niyojayasi Keshava. Vyamishreneva Vakyena. Buddhim mohayasiva me. Tadekam vada nishchitya. Yena shreyohamapnuyam. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. Lokesmin Vividha Nishtha. Pura Prokta Maya Nagham. Jnana Yogena Sankhyanam. Karma Yogena Yoginam. Na karmana manarambhat. Naishkarmyam purushoshnude. Naja sanyasana deva. Siddhim samadhi gacchati. Now, we were just concluding the second chapter. Let us conclude it properly. Then we go to the third chapter. Clear? So, what Bhagavan is saying here is, any extreme lifestyle is unsustainable. Everybody needs to understand, any extreme step, any extreme kind of lifestyle cannot be sustained. And what cannot be sustained cannot sustain you. What you can't sustain you. For example, you say, well, I will eat only once in a week. Okay? I will eat only once in a week. Everybody fasts on Ekadashi, but I will eat only on Ekadashi, not on the other days. Can you sustain it? Is it possible? Why? It's an extreme lifestyle. It is extreme. Therefore, extreme denial of basics to yourself. When you deny to yourself all those basic needs, and you deny them in an extreme sense, then you can't continue that kind of lifestyle. And what you can't continue, what you can't sustain, can't sustain you. It's almost like saying, the house that you can't look after you. बहुत बड़ी बात है जी. Therefore, when you are looking after the house, actually you are looking after the house that is meant to look after you. If you don't look after the household, then the household cannot look after you. If you can't sustain a relation, the relation can't sustain you. Therefore, Krishna says, always strike a balance in whatever you do without swinging from extreme to extreme. Either one overeats or one goes on a total fasting. Both are extremes. So morning lauki ka juice, and then noon tori ka juice, and then by night pumpkin ka juice. What is all this? This is no food. This is no food. That is all the time you are just thinking of lauki, tori, vagera. And you are worth 40,000 crores. This is all because for a few days we overeat and afterwards we just start fasting. This is called extremes. And they make us fall. Balance gives us health. Yuktahar, Krishna says, you just pick up that one verse and dwell on the meaning of that one verse. I tell you, it will give you much more benefit. You see, anything extreme is bad. Yukta ahara viharasya, Bhagavan says. Yukta ahara, you can't really stop eating, but at the same time don't overeat. But there is something called yuktahara, means what? Just take what you require and don't overdo it. Eat, but don't overdo it. Yukta viharasya, well, outing is necessary. Go out, but don't overdo it. Travel, but don't overdo it. Because what can be done can also be overdone. Is it not? Haji. What can be eaten can be overeaten. Why not? Possibility to hai. Possibility is there. Therefore, Bhagavan says, well, you ahara, eat, but don't overdo it. Vihara, interact with the world, but don't overdo it. Yukta cheshtasya karmasu. Do duties, but don't overdo them. Don't go on making yourself restless in the name of duty. A lot of people, are restless and they call it duty. मुझे ये करना, मुझे वो करना. तो जो करना तो the whole day you have been doing. What is there? आराम से बैठो. Housewife says, now you have come after you went in the morning and now that you are back. Just sit down and have a cup of tea and talk something to me. I am your wife. Why you are all the time talking to your mummy? Are you a small child? You are still a baby or what? Hey, I am your wedded wife. Sit with your partner. As a partner, I am also important. No, आप किचन में जाओ, अपना काम करो. My mummy से बात करना. What is all this? What is all this? Have good relation with mother, but don't neglect your partner also. Relax. आराम से बैठो, आराम से बैठो. Therefore, a lot of people in the name of duty are only indulging in restlessness. Restlessness. They are restless. They are not doing duty. Doing nothing. Restless, doing nothing. And therefore, what should one do? Not doing a duty is one extreme, and being ever restless is another extreme. And there is something in between. Means what? Do your duty, and once the duty is done, relax. You deserve relaxation. Learn to do and learn also to relax. Learn where to begin and where to end. Learn to begin. In fact, that applies to everything in life. If we know where to begin and where to end, we will always be, we are always on the safe side. We are always safe by knowing where to begin, knowing where to end. Where to begin, when to earn, and when to retire. ये भी बहुत जरूर है जी. What did I say? When to earn and when to retire. Do people know it? No. Swamiji, we know only when to earn. We don't know when to end. In fact, we know there is no end to it. There is no end to it. That's called another extreme. That is called extreme. Krishna says, Bhagavan Krishna says, Yuktahara viharasya yukta cheshtasya karmasu. The one who strikes a balance in his intake of food, in his interaction with the world, and in his duties. Yukta swapnavabodhasya. And the one who is yukta, the one who strikes a balance in his waking as well as swapna. Not that really, either you are sleeping the whole day or you are active the whole day without rest. Any extreme takes its toll. I want you to hear this sentence. Any extreme takes its toll. It will not let you off the hook. Every extreme is a hook. You are hooked. No use of crying in life. We have to use our wisdom and help ourselves. We have to use our wisdom and help ourselves. You renounce your wisdom and then afterwards start crying. Remember the story, Bhagavan says, very beautiful story. Yesterday only one small child, he tells that story I knew even before, but everybody knows this story. There were floods. There were floods. Aram se bhai. There were floods. And somebody was drowning. Somebody was drowning. Hey Bhagavan, God, I have been your devotee for my whole life, and all the bel patta, tulsi patta, etc. I have used only to worship you. The public park is free, there is no bel patta left, there is no tulsi patta left. I used all the tulsi patta, bel patta in the public park only to worship you. And now there are floods. You must come and save me. There came somebody. Hey, I am going. Why don't you come with me? I have got a boat. Why don't you say, no, Bhagavan will come because I would like to be saved straight by Bhagavan. Because I have been, he has got an obligation to me. I have been worshipping him and he will come. And then that boatman goes, and then again, Bhagavan, why are you delaying? I am neck deep already. Hey Bhagavan, come. Remember the bel patta and tulsi patta. And he even reminded Bhagavan of the coconuts. How many coconuts I used to give you? What happened to all those coconuts? You have forgotten all the coconuts. I gave so many things, so many offerings I gave you. Bhagavan, help me. And then there came another boatman. He said, hey, you are getting drowned, just get on to the boat. You please come with me, I'll take you across. He said, no, my Bhagavan will come and he will come by Concord. You'll come by Concord, I will get into the Concord and then get myself out, again. And in the meantime, the water swelled up and the man drowned. And he went to heaven. And he was standing in front of Bhagavan. And he was so furious with God. He was so furious. He said, why are you so angry with me? And Bhagavan says, see, I gave you so much of bel patta and tulsi patta and so many coconuts. And then all that I wanted you was just to come and save me from that flood. You never came. What is this? Then he said, idiot. The first boatman was sent by me. He was going somewhere. I put the thought in his mind. I inspired him to come your way. I inspired the second boatman to come your way. And I was just thinking of sending the third boatman your way. And in the meantime, you drowned. What can I do for that? Why do you think? No, why did you not come? See, I've got so much of work to do. What does it matter whether I come or my boatman comes? It is the same thing. You need only to be same. Are you able to follow? Everybody God has given viveka. That is the boatman. We all have that choice. That viveka is the boatman. Use that viveka and help yourself. Use that wisdom, that atma, anatma viveka, dharma, adharma viveka, sukha, dukkha viveka. This will make me uncomfortable. This is fair. This is unfair. This will make me fall sick. And this will give me good health. This will create nice feelings in the family. This will unite the family. This will divide the family. This will bring about happiness, that will bring about unhappiness. This line, the difference between this and that, see, this extreme is not good, that extreme is not good, striking a balance is good. In this manner, to understand this much, everybody has the wisdom. Everybody has the wisdom. Use that wisdom, use that viveka to look after yourself. Bhagavan is not going to come to look after you. It is both important. You have to look after yourself. You have to look after. That's called independence. Don't say my parents will look after me. Don't say my children will look after me. They may give a helping hand. Extending a helping hand is different from the big job of having to look after yourself. A helping hand is different. Somebody may give you a helping hand. You are just sitting and somebody gives a helping hand. Please just give me a helping hand. I want to get up. He may give you a helping hand. But ultimately, who has to heave up? The person has to heave up. He has to get up. And if you expect the other person also to pull you up and then really put you straight and all that, aisa kuch nahi hoga. He will say, all right, he will just wriggle himself out. He will go. Therefore, everybody has to look after himself or herself. Why? If it is true that parents have to look after, if it is true that I have to be looked after by somebody, then Bhagavan would have given that somebody the viveka, and no viveka he would have given me. God has given a pair of legs to everybody because everybody is supposed to do his own walking. Everybody has got a pair of eyes because everybody is supposed to see for himself. Everybody is supposed to hear for himself. Everybody is supposed to eat for himself. In this manner, we all have to look after ourselves. We have to be our own mother, our own father, our own teacher, our own light, our own guide. That is being independent. You have to really, what is good for you, you have to look after yourself. And therefore, when you look after yourself, the way of looking after yourself is avoid extremes. When you avoid extremes, you strike a balance. That is something that you can continue. A balanced life you can live for the whole life. Extremes you can't live for long. I hope you are able to follow. Extremes we can't live for long. Dal roti you can eat every day. That's the balance. What is it? Whatever. Everyday pizza is an extreme. Everyday beef is an extreme. Everyday bread, butter, anything. These are all extremes. Everyday jhagada. Can you manage it? Once in a while, theek hai ji. But everyday jhagada is that's an extreme. And no talking at all is another extreme. Talking too much is another extreme. Not talking at all is another extreme. Therefore, Krishna is recommending, very beautiful, that is neither this extreme. Overdoing eating is imbalance, is an extreme. Not eating at all is an extreme. Over interaction with the world. You all the time you want people around. You always want somebody to whom you can sit and talk. And nobody, you feel bored. This is what? Overdoing interaction. Overdoing interaction. Either you go to somebody's place or you call somebody over. And then the whole day you are talking. What is the subject matter? Bhagavan knows. What is the topic? You have been talking since morning. What is the topic? I say. What is I say? That means what is all just really. It's all lotus eating. It's nothing. Wasting time. Killing time. And therefore, Bhagavan says, avoid these extreme lifestyles. And what is the right lifestyle? To balance. Yuktahara viharasya yukta cheshtasya karmatu su yukta swapnavabodha. That yukta swapnavabodha is important. It's sometimes, for a few days you sleep for 20 hours and then be awake for 4 hours. Or sometimes, you are working for 20 hours and sleeping for only 2-3 hours. These are all extremes. You fall sick. I have seen many young girls, because the companies, promised, 2 lakhs, 200,000 rupees per month. And this girl, loses her head. My God, 200,000, 2 lakhs. A quarter million per month. And then they say, but then you have to work by night. You have to come by 8 o'clock and be there till next day, 8 o'clock. After 6 months, millions are there, but the girl is not there. But the girl is gone. They all become really skin and bone, and the eyes have gone, sunken eyes. With sunken eyes, faded face. All gone, because extreme. There is nothing like a sustainable routine, a harmonious routine. You have to be wise enough to look after yourself. Even sometimes God really puts us in some extreme conditions. Then again we have to use our wisdom to look after ourselves. All refugees came from Pakistan, but then a lot of Punjabis, they looked after themselves. They managed themselves because they had that innate wisdom. Their culture was with them. They left everything. They lost everything. All that they brought here was their culture, their wisdom, their Vedic wisdom. All Punjabis came with their Vedic wisdom. They worked hard. They educated their children. And they managed. They are all right now. In extreme conditions, they could have really disappeared. In extreme conditions, but still they managed. themselves. That's why here Bhagavan says, well, nirmamo nirahankaraha sushantim adhigacchati. This is what I wanted to say. And we are just doing the last verse of the first chapter. And we go to the third. The last chapter is this. It's a very interesting verse. A lot of confusions this verse can clear. Look at the verse. Esha. This is Sanskrit. And Sanskrit is not something new to you. Sanskrit is very much a part of your language. Don't get scared of Sanskrit, because your entire Hindi is Sanskrit. Not only Hindi, Bengali is Hindi. Punjabi is also Hindi. Punjabi is also Hindi, but said in a Punjabi style. It is nothing but Sanskrit, but the style is, that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. All our languages, all our languages are rooted in Sanskrit. Therefore, don't get the words that you are going to hear is all, you know it. Now, first the Esha. Esha means Yaha. Esha means Yaha. This. Brahmi. Sthiti. Sthiti, you know? Sthiti. This situation. This state. Brahmi Sthiti means this state of being peaceful, free and eternal. This state of your being, this state of freedom, this state of being conscious, this state of discovering that you are Brahman. You are Brahman means that you are not form. You are not confined to the form. You are not confined to anything. Consciousness cannot be confined. Because whenever it's like, you see, you are living in the house, but you are not confined to the house. You are living in the house all right, but not confined to the house. You are living in the car, but not confined. You can just get out also. But it is much more than that. Even like space, let us take the example of space. You have to hear. The space, what we call, even though we qualify this space as space inside the hall, but actually the space inside the hall is the same as the space outside. The space is not inside the hall is inside space. This is called self-discovery. The space inside the hall, the space has been thinking, I am locked up within the four walls. The space has been thinking that I am locked up within the four walls. Then the space is taught, hey, you are not caught within the four walls. In fact, it is within you. The four walls are rooted. The hall is rooted in space. Space is not rooted in the hall. As long as the space thinks it is inside the hall, it feels confined. It feels choked, suffocated. Confinement is always suffocating. Confinement is always suffocating. This sense of suffocation is called samsara. This sense of suffocation. I am nothing but the form is suffocating. I am nothing but form is suffocating. I am inside time is suffocating. When the form is gone, I am gone is a suffocating thought. When the mind is gone, I am gone is a suffocating thought. This and living one's life with this suffocation is called samsara. And the struggle is always, there is always struggle in life to get out of that suffocation. And when the space is taught, hey, you are not inside the hall, you are indeed the one in which the hall itself is rooted. Oh my God, the space feels liberated from that sense of suffocation. This is what is called Brahmi Sthiti. Freedom from the sense of Suffocation. I am trying to use your language, the known language. I am trying to use your known language. The sense of limitation, the sense of confinement, the sense of bondage, and the sense of suffocation. This freedom from this sense of suffocation is called Brahmi Sthitihi. Man also always feels suffocated being the form. I am only the form. I am never out of the form. But Shastram comes and says, hey, you are not rooted inside the form. The form is rooted in your being. This world is rooted in your awareness. Time is rooted in awareness. Your body is rooted in awareness. Waking is rooted in your awareness, in your sight. Dream is rooted in awareness. And even death, the blackout, is rooted in awareness. Even darkness cannot be there without awareness. All these things we will see, analyze little by little whenever the opportunity comes. But I am trying to explain to you the first phrase of the verse, Esha Brahmi Sthitihi. This situation, this state of understanding oneself as free from all suffocations. Esha Brahmi Sthitihi Partha. Hey Partha, hey Arjuna. Na enam. This is indeed a state of freedom from suffocation. Partha, hey Partha. Na, not. Enam, isko. Prapya, having gained. Na vimuhyati, one is not reconfused. Having become free from this confusion, one will not get into the confusion again. Meaning what? One is in self-discovery, you are free from confusion about yourself for good. Because what we call confusions in life are nothing but confusions about oneself. A बहुत बड़ी बात है जी, इसको आपको सुनना चाहिए. What we call confusions in life. I am confused about my job, I am confused about my family, I have got confusions about my career, I have got confusions about my next step in life. Everybody says I am confused about this, I am confused about that. Here Shastra says all those confusions are nothing but confusions about yourself. You are all in dreaming. You are all in dream. Like a person is in dream, inside the dream he makes a complaint. No, I have confusion about my family. Inside the dream, I appear to you in your dream. Let us just imagine. I appear to you in your dream. And then Swamiji, aap yahan par aa gaye hain. So how nice to see you. And I always see you in Ramana Kendra. It's so nice to see you. Vagaira, vagaira. And then he says, Swamiji, I have got some questions to ask. I have got some confusions. What are the confusions? I have got so many confusions. I have confusion about my family. I have got confusion about my job. I have got confusion about my banks also. In which bank I have to put money also. I have got confusions about my investment also. Where to invest, vagaira. And I have got a few friends. And then really now I have got some doubts about them. So many complaints, you have got so many confusions. All of them are in which context? That you are dream. You wake up from the dream, all confusions come to an end. The context for all the confusions is the same. I want you to hear this sentence. The context for all the confusions is the same. Self-ignorance. Self-ignorance is the context for all the confusions. Self-ignorance is the context for all complaints. Self-ignorance is the context for all grievances. Self-ignorance is the context for all the depressions. All your depressions can be traced to self-ignorance, complaints can be traced to self-ignorance, and desires can be traced to self-ignorance. In fact, every problem in life can be traced to self-ignorance. Yes. And therefore, the answer to all human problems is self-education. Let me call this. You can call it self-knowledge, you can call it self-discovery, and some people call it self-realization. I am not very fond of these terms. I say self-education. It's educating ourselves about ourselves. Shastra means self-education. It is not some kind of a magic. It's just, with a magic wand you say something and it becomes enlightened. Like if somebody comes and puts his hand, like a physics professor comes and puts his hand on your head. You get all the physics. A musician comes and puts his hand on your head. May all music flood your dimag. Suppose. Are you going to become a musician? Whatever little you have, that also you will lose. Please understand, there is no magic when it comes to education. You have to be receptive to what is taught. You have to receive education. You have to receive education. Education is one thing, for which there is no shortcut. Education is one thing for which there is no shortcut. And our freedom depends upon self-education. Our inner peace depends upon self-education. Self-education is what is called Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita educates man about himself. Vedanta is self-education. Our Vedic culture is nothing but self-education. And you all know that word. Our Vidya is Adhyatma Vidya. This culture is a culture of Adhyatma Vidya. Adhyatma means pertaining to oneself. Vidya means education. It is education about oneself. That is called Hindu Dharma. When we say Hinduism, it is some kind of a colloquial term. Hindu Dharma happens to be, there is some Sindhu and there is some historic. It is not, ours is not Hindu Dharma. We are called Vaidika Dharma. This Hinduism is called Vaidika Dharma. Or Adhyatma Vidya, meaning it is a culture that pertains to ourselves. Ours is a Vaidika Dharma. Vaidika Sanskriti. Vaidika Sanskriti is self-education. Anything that is talking about ourselves, our nature, our freedom, to help us understand ourselves, that is called, that which contributes to self-growth, self-purification, and finally self-discovery, is what is called Adhyatma Vidya. Okay, this Adhyatma Vidya is the answer to all human problems. This is the first line. I have covered the meaning of the first line. What is that? This freedom from confusion, which is in the form of education, having gained this, there is no more confusion. After self-education, there is no more confusion. Confusion goes forever. Confusion comes to an end for good. Are you able to follow? Okay, now come a lot of problems. Bhagavan says, last line, Brahmastram. Bhagavan uses Brahmastram. Sthitva syam antakalepi. Sthitva, remaining in self-education. Asyam vidyayam. Rooted in self-education, rooted in self-clarity. I'm just using the word rooted in self-education, rooted in self-clarity. Antakalepi, even towards the end of life. Antakalmi, even after 80. When a person is 80 plus, even then. Swamiji, what about 90 plus? Even then. Swamiji, what about 100 plus? Even then. Antakala can be what? Towards the end of life. Towards the end of life. Even in the evening of life, remaining in this, rooted in this clarity, Brahma Nirvana Mrichati. Brahma Nirvana means moksham. Richati means gachati. He is liberated forever. Having gained self-education, even towards the end of life, one is liberated. Say, if one gains self-education, if one gains self-clarity, even towards the end of life, the benefit is freedom, then what to talk of a person who is exposed to self-education right from the beginning. Now, here is a problem that everybody has in this country at least. Swamiji, which is the best age at which I should start Bhagavad Gita? Great question. Hey, when you are free, you better start. All right, tell me, which is the best age at which you should look for happiness? Which is the Muhurtam? Which is the Muhurtam? Ananda Muhurtam? Like you have Brahma Muhurtam, Shubha Muhurtam, and the time at which you look for happiness, that is called Ananda Muhurtam. What is Ananda Muhurtam? They say, every second in life, man only pants for, craves for peace. We crave for happiness. We crave for comfort. We crave for freedom throughout life. And therefore, and the means to that happiness is self-education. And therefore, when is the need for it? If the love for happiness is perennial, the need for self-knowledge also is perennial. I want you to understand this. Our love for peace, our love for fullness, our love for satisfaction is perennial. It is going to be there until we find it. Our love for happiness is there until we find it. Our love for freedom is always there until we find it. Our love for Anandam is going to be there until we find it. And we will never find it outside ourselves. It happens to be our nature. I have to find it out within myself. And therefore, self-probe, self-education is what? A need. A need. At what age is it a need? At what age is it our need? All day. In fact, throughout life we have only one desire, the desire for fullness. And throughout life we have only one, we need to do only one thing, that is to look at ourselves. Self-education is our perennial need, and satisfaction is our perennial need. Fullness is our perennial need. Therefore, self-education is our perennial need. Therefore, when is the best time to start Bhagavad Gita? When is the best time? They don't say when is the best time. At every second we are in need of the scripture. At every second we are in need of Vedanta. I am using the term Vedanta. Vedanta is a word for any literature that educates you about yourself. And it happens to be Veda. It may be Bhagavad Gita, it may be Upanishads, or it may be another book. Any book that educates you about your free nature is called really the scripture. Therefore, our need to study the scripture is perennial. At every second it is there. Therefore, which is the best time, auspicious time to start Bhagavad Gita? The auspicious time is, even though every second is auspicious, at every time I am supposed to, but the wisdom always tells us, hey, life is full of problems also. Therefore, whenever you have time, whenever you have better times, use those better times to go into the Shastra. Don't use your better times to go and camp in Switzerland. Generally, we use better times to entertain, to indulge. This is the truth. Whenever you make a lot of money, then your drinking quota also increases. You start drinking more. You start drinking more. Why? Lot of money. Therefore, better times are used to harm oneself. We use our better times to make us worse, to harm ourselves. Better times make us worse. Better times make us worse. They don't make us worse, but we use those better times to make ourselves worse. Here Krishna says, use better times for your own betterment. Use better times for your own betterment. And your betterment lies in being exposed to this. It tells you what you are. Okay. Therefore, the best time is use your free time for spiritual literature. Use your free time for prayer to look after yourself. Use your free time for exercises. Use your free time for prayer. Use your free time for service. Use your free time for the study. Use your free time to give your best to your parents, to give your best to your children, and use your free time to get out of even wrong habits. Attend to your lifestyle. Use your free time to correct your lifestyle. What did I say? Use your free time to correct your lifestyle. Therefore, use your free time for your betterment, and betterment is very comprehensive. Service is your betterment. Looking after the parents, etc., is your betterment. Exercises gives you, it is betterment. Spiritual study is betterment. Going to a temple is betterment. Even going to some yatra is betterment. In fact, it is excellent. You go for a walk. You walk, from Rishikesh to Gangotri. You walk. All that, extra weight goes away. You become lighter and you crash to the ground. A lot of things. And then you become humbler. You understand really how wonderful it is. You enjoy for the first time what is nature, because you are walking in the nature. When you are driving, do you enjoy nature? See, we always enjoy trees that stay quiet. We look at them. And here when you are traveling in a train, even before you take a look at the tree, it is gone. Even before you take a look at the mountain, it is gone. Therefore, it's all running, all the time running. Do you enjoy nature while driving? Do you enjoy nature while flying? Swamiji, I enjoy clouds when I am flying. Hey, you are above clouds. No, I look down through the window. Because whenever I book, I've got some people working in the airport, Air India, I get my ticket, booked, and I always get the window seat. And then I peep down. And then I look at the, what we call clouds. What a great enjoyment of clouds. Yahan par aaram se, then there are so many clouds. This is where we sit in the ground and enjoy. No, I fly to enjoy the clouds. What is all this? It's all wonky stuff. Our yatra is Pada Yatra is an excellent Indian system, I am telling you. Let us not lose it. Reaching the Punya Kshetram, reaching a place of pilgrimage, walking is a great tradition because it teaches you so much. You really imbibe nature. You really imbibe the valley of springs on the way. You really imbibe, really interacting various kinds of, at every kilometer you stop there on the roadside and there is a tea shop and you talk to those people and then you have a cup of tea and you come to know the culture of that land and then you move on. My God, we are losing this yatra, Pada Yatra. As children, we used to walk up this Balaji hill. I am telling you, I still remember. As children, we used to run up. And those memories really, even till today, that when I think of those memories, when those memories come, they carry to me the meaning of pilgrimage. The word pilgrimage, I enjoy the sense of the word pilgrimage whenever I remember, as children we used to run up that hill, not go by bus or anything, just run up the hill. And there are so many tirthas, so many water springs and all that. And we used to carry food and then eat there and then come down after darshan and all. That is called, and then come down walking. In that there is something else. That's called pilgrimage. Pilgrimage. This is also what? A kind of betterment. Service is helping yourself. Therefore Krishna says, use the free time to help yourself. Don't use free time to harm yourself. Don't use free time to harm yourself. And therefore, every moment should be used to help ourselves. We should use every moment to help. And the only way of helping is not too much of bhoga. Too much of bhoga is not the way of helping ourselves. Overeating is not the way of helping ourselves. Over drinking is not the way of helping ourselves. That is not a successful life. It is really, it is not a successful life. It is a distraction from living. It is suffering. It is not living. It is suffering. A person who is drinking and then becomes really all the time drinking, is he living or suffering? He is suffering. Overindulgence is not living. Overindulgence denies us living. I want you to hear this. Overindulgence denies us living. We are not living. We are only all the time suffering, suffering, suffering. Therefore, do you know what is it that can make us live? Correct your lifestyle. Trust prayer. Sit down and pray to God. Half an hour, 1 hour. Just fight with God to give you strength to correct your lifestyle. Yes. And then enjoy really even visiting nice places of pilgrimage. And service. Service. Even supposing you pick up, there is somebody whom you can give some letters, you can give education, you can just teach some alphabet. You teach really your own servant some alphabet. There is nothing wrong in it. It's a joy. You are making another soul. You are giving, the sight to another soul. In that there is a lot of satisfaction. You feed a hungry man. Therefore the service, prayer, pilgrimage, all these things, and then study, and even coming to the class is what? You are helping yourself. You are listening to something. Bhagavan Krishna says, don't wait for auspicious time to do the right things in life. Well, use all your free time to do the right things. And when you are not free, you are doing your duty anyway. And duty also is a right thing. When you have done your duty, then you are free. Are you able to follow? Over. Thus use your life to help yourself. And that is why God has given you Viveka. Therefore, what is another word for the Viveka? Boatman. Bhagavan sent. Whom did he send? When the person was drowning, whom did Bhagavan send? The boatman. And again, the second man was also a boatman to save you from drowning. But you didn't take the help of a boatman. You always wanted Bhagavan to come. In life also, we don't want to use our thinking. We want Bhagavan to help us. Bhagavan says, I have already given you something by which you can help yourself. No. We don't want that. We want you to come. We want you to come and run errands for us. God, you must come and run errands for us. Is Bhagavan going to oblige you? Is he going to oblige us? He will say, shut up. do what I tell you. I have given you enough to look after you, and you look after yourself. If you don't want to look after yourself, then get drowned. Get drowned. What can I do? Therefore, all the time we should pray to God. Do you know what we should pray for? Our Gayatri. God, create in me more and more clarity so that I can look after myself. Inspire me for the right things. Guide me towards the right things. Throw light on my thinking so that I can live my life. Thus, don't wait. No, when a person is a brahmachari, I am concluding. You can begin Vedanta when you are a teenager even. Means from the time you can reason. From the time you can reason. And when a small child also can be introduced to certain important related things, like prayers, etc. You can start it after marriage, you can start it as a grihastha, you can do it when you are a grihastha, you can do it when you are a vanaprastha, or you can do, supposing the life has not been able to, you have not been fortunate enough to get time for these things. Alright, you are 70 plus. Now you have nothing. Therefore, even at the age of 70, don't say, there is only one thing. There is only one situation. There is only one situation in life in which it is better late than never. That is only self-education. When it comes to self-education, even if it is late, it doesn't matter. It is better to begin self-education and quit the body, so that next life I can continue. It is better late than never. It is self-study is a choiceless for a child, for a teenager, for a middle-aged man, or for an old man. Age is no criterion. Like the love for happiness. What is the criterion for love for happiness? What is this? I want you to imbibe this. When is the love for happiness? Is age a criterion for the desire for happiness? Is age a criterion to create a desire for happiness? Is age a criterion? No. In the same manner, if age is not a criterion, please understand, if age is not a criterion, please understand, studying the scripture, age is not a criterion. The day you become matured enough, the day you become enlightened about the need for it, the day you become enlightened, the day you become free, the day you become samajdar, you can study the scripture. Whose scripture? Your own scripture. It is neither your scripture nor my scripture. It is scripture. Like eyes is a sight. This sight it is God's sight. This is also God's teaching. And anyway, it's talking about us. And therefore, don't look upon the study. Don't look upon age as a criterion. Old age is wonderful. Young age also is wonderful. And don't listen to people. Oh, abhi itna jaldi bhi kya hai? They always say, supposing you want to come, all the educated people, especially the younger generation, they're all educated. Older generations, they were all educated also, but they were educated in a different way. But the younger generation, they are much more articulate, and they are much more reasoning also. All these, and therefore they should come to the class. They should go anywhere and study. But then if somebody says, well, after all, you are only 30 years old, you are only 40 years old. What is the hurry? It's only when your children are settled, your grandchildren are settled, then you can go. I tell you, children never settle. Children never settle. You know what do? They keep on unsettling you. Children don't settle. Children keep on unsettling the parents. That is the truth. And you don't wait for all those muhurtas. Whenever you have free time, quietly use it for the scriptural study. That is the meaning of the last verse. And Shankaracharya says, I am concluding, Shankaracharya says, even in old age you can study and understand and liberate yourself. What to talk of your being capable of studying? What if you study when you are still young? You don't have to wait till old age also. It is always better to start it as early as possible in life. As early as possible. It is better to study, because there is no use also, because old age also one doesn't know. Because when a person becomes old, one doesn't know whether my faculties will be intact. This is minimum qualification to study is a pair of ears. Shastra Adhyayana means it has to be Shravanam, which is the minimum qualification. Pair of ears. And supposing after 60 they don't listen, they don't hear. Suppose a pair of ears. Therefore we can't even trust our ears. Therefore when they are in good condition, when they are in good health, it is better to study, better to hear. That is the last verse. And next class we are going to start the third chapter. It's a very, very beautiful. Every chapter is very beautiful. I am not trying to, just, what we call flatter. Nobody can flatter the scripture. Nobody can exaggerate the scripture. The relevance of our duty is going to be the topic which we will see the next class. Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya